If you've been paying any attention to what is happening right now regarding this latest aspect of the Israel, Hamas, Palestine, this war going on, if you are missing what is happening as a subdirectory, so to speak, a derivative of this, and that is the focusing of speech, promotion, social media postings, streaming, information, and the like, which is viewed by many people, many of them on the left, many of them in the entertainment community, many of those who themselves have found themselves before arguing that they had the right to speak freely, that their humor, their talent was taken out of context, that it was misunderstood. These people, some of them of Jewish faith or heritage, some not, but many of them are, who also concomitantly share a position within the leftist liberal positions and the entertainment position, and those individuals who demanded an absolute understanding when it came to perhaps transgressions they might have made, things they might have said, are now telling you, you don't understand this, whatever the particular object of this is anti-Semitism. This is intolerable. This will not be tolerated. And this absolutely just breaches any understanding of free speech. And the arguments and what we are seeing is so complicated. I promise you, you will never have this explained to you. Just in a cursory review, just a perfunctory review of what's being done or being said on YouTube. If you look at what they said on ABC or even on other shows, you see this absolute inability on anybody's part, sometimes you do, to grasp what is happening. The rule is simply this: there is no free speech when I say there is no free speech, there is legally. You're not arrested, because remember, this isn't the thought police we're talking about. These are the thought vigilantes. But there is no free speech if you are deemed to be promoting, encouraging, ratifying, endorsing, retweeting something which someone else considers to be either anti-Semitic or hate speech or baseless or intellectually invalid. Do you see how dangerous this is? What's next? What's the next thing they say? Excuse me, you can't say that. Stand by, my friends. We're going to delve into this. This is one of the most important subjects ever, because tonight we're learning about Candace Owens is involved in it, Tucker Carlson, and Elon Musk. And what did Elon Musk do? Did Elon Musk say something? No, he endorsed something. Stand by. We'll be talking about that. Please like the videos. Please pay attention. Please buckle up. Subscribe to the channel. But first, let us talk about these most important facts from this most important sponsor. Dark clouds are gathering as markets shudder. Stocks are sinking, currency stumbling, fear and uncertainty reign. The Middle East, Ukraine, Taiwan, the debt, it's endless. Yet one asset stands firm: gold. In crisis after crisis, gold is there in the background. Its enduring value guards against loss, like a missile shield against incoming. While paper wealth burns, gold persists. Shield your savings against looming threats: war, recession, contagion, and avoid the frenzied panic of the unprepared. Take control in the chaos. Fortune favors decisive action. Get hold of gold now before it's out of reach. And right now, Noble Gold Investments offers a free 5-ounce America the Beautiful coin with every new IRA. Claim your free coin today to secure your financial future. As this new storm gathers, panic looms. And some of the places you were thinking of for your money, well, they don't look so clever anymore. Secure your future against disaster now. Open a Noble Gold Investments IRA and claim your free bullion coin today. Go to LionelNationGold.com. That's LionelNationGold.com. LionelNationGold.com, the only gold company I trust. And remember, there's always a risk of investment and there's no guarantee of any kind. All right, my friends, I wish I had a whiteboard or something that I could use to explain this, because this requires folks to pay attention. First, let me say to our new member, our new Lionel, the Logo Daedalus level member, as our friend Hillbilly 55, proudly proclaiming membership with his badge, we thank you, Hillbilly 55. Let us begin. Number one, my friends, it is axiomatic that in the United States of America, I can't speak for the rest of the world, I can't speak, but in the United States of America, for the most part, we have a protection that means that the federal government, the state government, different governments cannot stop you, penalize you, prosecute you, sanction you, censor you from free speech, from speaking freely. Do you understand that? That's the First Amendment. Government, state, federal, also tangential, school boards, police cannot tell you you can't say that. Got it? That's the First Amendment. That's the First Amendment. Thanks to our good friends at 1-800-LIONEL now. If you've got a problem, by the way, do not call this number. We don't know where this number goes, but thank you very much for this most clever piece of streaming comedy. We thank you for your contribution as well. Okay. You got that? First Amendment doesn't protect you from against people from Sacha Baron Cohen or Amy Schumer or whoever, or Susan Sarandon. It doesn't protect you from your homeowners association, from your neighbors. It doesn't. It means that the government can't do this. Good. Put that over there. Next. Something, and this is where it gets really complicated. Antisemitism, in my mind, the way it started initially, listen to there are some incredible, please spend some time and listen to the most important words from Peter Hayes. Look up the name Peter Hayes on his lectures on anti-Semitism. Also, Robert Wiener. He was a retired, I think, a professor on where anti-Semitism began. And it was initially instigated and targeted as against a religion, against a faith, against Judaism, not people from Palestine or Semites or those in the Middle East, or no. It was specifically targeted to those who practiced the Jewish faith. That was the initial. That's where it started from. And the reasons for that, oh my God. You can spend days, weeks, months, years studying that one. But that's the word anti-Semit, okay? You got it? You understand what I'm saying? That's number one. And this one, I don't even know what this means, but thank you for this. I don't even know what that means, but thank you for that, Sparky. I mean that. Now, here is the question. The next case, the next version of this comes from the following. In the Middle East, specifically in Israel, we have two groups of people, primarily Israelis and what we call Palestinians. And since 1948 and before that, since Herzl in 1897 and Zionism, there has been a fight, a movement, an exercise to create Israel as the official state of the Jewish people. This is what you call Zionism. And now we have Judaism people, and then we have a state that actually represents the embodiment of, not the exclusive. It would be almost, I can't think of any other situation where we would have a state that would be the official state of Catholics, Black people, Italians. It doesn't lend itself. I mean, there are people who share commonality, but it is unique. And the reasons for it, I don't have to go through, okay? This is where the problems started. This is where it began. This is where it, you understand this? This is where it starts. Let us move on. Okay, let us move on. Recently, for reasons I do not understand, this October the 7th took everything that we knew before and, in essence, blew it up. Figuratively, literally, actually. It's completely different. October the 7th was the date that Hamas, a terrorist organization, by definition, by, I don't want to say acclamation, but by announcement, by prescription, by labeling, by whatever it is, whether it's the UN, whether it's, name it, Hamas, whether they're bound, whether they're motivated, who cares? What they did, by every stretch of the imagination, by every definition, was terrorism as we know it. Plain and simple. You might agree with it. You might say, well, that's only right. You can think whatever you want. That's up to you. I'm telling you the way it is. That's it. When you do that. Now, there are others who say, wait a minute, hold it. If you watch these ridiculous, silly, just professional wrestling, battle royal arguments between Shmuley Boteach and the other Palestinian gentleman on Piers Morgan, the Palestinian authorities say, well, what about the IDF? And he shows up a picture of a dead child. Is this dead child different than this dead child? And then we get into this about who's really the terrorist. All right, I'll let you talk about that. But this is where we get into definitions. Are you sure they're a terrorist? Who are you? Why are they a terrorist? But why are they? What brought them about? What caused this? Okay, fine. Let them discuss it. Fine. Okay. Now, as that is going on, it starts to develop. And the issue is this. You have two completely separate opinions. Both of them you can focus on. Israel says, we were attacked. We were attacked by a group called Hamas. And how do we know this? Because they leave videos and they announce it proudly and they planned it. There's no doubt. There's no smoking gun. They did it and we are going to retaliate. Fine. Nobody scratches their head on this. Nobody says, well, maybe you should. No. And they say, we know exactly where they are. And this is where they are. They're in Gaza. And they're underneath schools and underneath hospitals. And they're in tunnels. And they use people as human shields. And we know that story, okay? And they say, and we're going to get them. We're going to get the people that do that to us. We have had it. This is ridiculous. Nobody blames them for saying, We want to stop this. Now, the issue becomes, based upon the other folks and the rest of the world, well, how do you do it? They are saying, what you're doing, Israel, is you're disproportionate. You're going into hospitals, but that's where they are. It doesn't matter. This is a hospital. I know it's a hospital. That's why Hamas uses this. And then they argue, was it really there? Do you have enough evidence? Is this evidence legitimate? Was this concocted? And then we get into that side argument. But you have groups of people who were basically telling Israel, we know you know where this comes from. Don't do anything. Just, I don't know what they want Israel to do. Well, what do you want us to do? Well, you can't attack a hospital, but that's where it is. That's where they are. They know what they're doing. This makes sense. What do you want us to do? This is the first quandary, the first impasse. I don't know. There was a picture today of Susan Sarandon and other people are, marching. Okay, what are you supposed to do? Fine. Stop for a second. Okay, stop. That's where we are with that. Now let's look at the Palestinian perspective. There are people, citizens, men, women, children who say, I don't know anything about this. I don't know who started this. I may maybe secretly think one way or the other, but I live in Gaza and I have nothing. I've seen death and destruction here. I want it to stop. And we have pictures of our children, and they do, unless they're making this up, unless it's just fictional. It's the perfect logical impasse. Loggerheads. What do you think? What do you think? What? Ladies and it was a pleasure today to make your acquaintance too. Wambui made it. It was a pleasure. Mrs. L and I were so pleased. We'll leave it at that. We don't want to in any way compromise your anonymity in this crazy world. But indeed, thank you. We were so impressed with your sagacity. Okay. Now, let's look at it this way. That argument is over here. Okay? That's the war argument. That's that. And you can have at it. Just believe me. But understand it's Israel versus, you could say, Palestine or Hamas or the West Bank or Abu Mazen, but it is not Judaism versus Islam. Now, you can think that all day long. That's not what it is. This is war. This is geopolitical. This is about, quote, proportionate response. That's what it is. Now, you can say that. If you think that the troubles in Ireland was about Protestants versus Catholics, if you think that India and Pakistan is Hindu versus Muslim, no. That may be a difference. That may be some dissonance, so to speak, but that's not it. Now stop it and move it over here. That's that argument. Let's go over here. Now, what are we allowed to talk about? One, TikTok is under incredible pressure for daring to allow people to speak about a piece of literature, an epistle, a screed, a Jeremiah, a whatever. That was done, that was written 21 years ago, okay? In which bin Laden says virtually everything you can hear today on the street. Go downtown, go to Columbus Circle, go wherever just go and read this, hear this, go anywhere. You can hear exactly exactly what he said. Exactly. Verbatim. But from other people. There's nothing different about it. There's nothing unique. It's I don't want to say the same argument, but it's the same argument. Now, the same argument that is allowed, nobody would say, hey, ABC, we're going to boycott you. Why? Because you let this person you broadcast somebody standing on a corner with a sign saying these things. ABC says, but wait a minute. That's what happened. No, you're promoting that. Excuse me, we're not promoting it. That's what people are saying. No, you're becoming the platform of hate. You're basically disseminating this. You're endorsing, you're ratifying, you're distributing this particular hate speech. ABC, whoever, I pick ABC, CNN, whatever, say, no, we're merely telling you. If we promote a Klan rally, not promote it, but report it, we're not promoting it. We're saying they burned a cross today. How can you report on something and not hear? Remember during the, please forgive me, remember the pussy hat demonstration? Remember that? They basically said they had Madonna, who was talking about wanting to basically explode the White House. You had Ashley Judd waxing incoherent about menstrual something or other. I don't think the news media endorsed that. I think what they did was they said, this is what somebody said. This is what they were saying. So what's the difference between that and what TikTok does? Yeah, but this is different. This allows people to go on TikTok and say terrible things. Okay, so what? What do you mean, so what? So what? That's not TikTok's fault. It's not Twitter's fault. It's not Facebook's fault. This is what somebody is saying. Right now, I can go to the library and check out Mein Kampf. This is Hitler's blueprint. His blueprint. What is this? I can go back and listen to the words of Idi Amin, who was a cannibal. I can go through and we can hear the screeds and hear Eichmann on trial and Nuremberg and hear the words of Goering and other. I mean, we can promote this. It's in history. That's okay. But this is different. No. Look, I don't like TikTok. I don't care the fact that they're you think the fact that they're Chinese, get over it. Get over it. My God, Twitter is going to be doing everything. Facebook. There were kids who had CSAM basically put on that, and they asked these various streaming, these sites to take them down, and they didn't. So don't give me this business. All of a sudden, you just woke up one day and you realize, oh my God, TikTok, because TikTok's promoting this. Of course it's rancid. But guess what? What you did was you just made what Bin Laden said. You just made it forbidden fruit. Again, you're calling attention to it. And these people, these young people are because they go on and they say this stuff all the time. And because they do this stuff where they say, oh, I didn't realize that. Now you're saying, aha, it's because of TikTok that these people recognize this. No. Ladies and gentlemen, stop for a second. Let me catch my breath and let me calm down because this just has me absolutely beside myself. Okay. Now, do me a favor. Let us please listen, subscribe to this channel. Make sure you like everything, hit that little bell, and listen very carefully right now to this, our very, very important message about what happens when the you-know-what hits the fan. All right, fellow patriot, let's talk about My Patriot Supply, the country's largest preparedness company, and it is more than equipped to stock your shelves in times of emergency. You can ditch the canned vegetables in the box, pasta and the banana chips and the jerky. Their best-selling 3-month food kit provides delicious breakfasts, lunches, and dinners that last up to 25 years. Now, these meals offer over 2,000 calories every day with a balance of protein and carbs to keep you fed and ready to go in the event of an emergency. Just add water and heat, then eat. Start or strengthen your food supply with this 3-month food kit from My Patriot Supply. So go to preparewithlionel.com to get ready. Preparewithlionel.com. I'm going to say it again. Preparewithlionel.com. Go now. All right, my dear friends, let me, if I could, stop for 1 second and bring up some wonderfully important questions. Sparky asks the question right now, what would happen if Israel was part of Syria when Syria was part of the Ottoman Empire and Jews and Arabs got along in those days? 20th century Zionists and Europeans messed it up. Could be, Sparky. Could be, absolutely could be. And great. Could be. We can do that. We can go back. Oh my God, we can go back to the history. You're right. You're right. Unfortunately, time travel does not permit us to go back. But it's a perfectly valid comparison. And I thank you for this. Thanks to our good friend from Burger King promoting Whoppers and tasty, unforgettable favorites of yours. Have it your way, the 80s flavor. Thank you for that as well. And then we have this, Cengage. I have no idea what this is, but elevate your learning experience with this. By the way, I do not actually endorse these. I merely read them because somebody was kind enough to provide this as an honorarium of sorts. So there you are. Thank you for that. I neither endorse nor ratify any of these whatsoever. Okay? Just to let you know, dear friends. All right. Let's go back to what we're saying. And this is the part which I cannot say to you, and I cannot in any way say this yet again any louder than I can. I live in a country where I want everyone to be able to speak. I want everyone to be able to speak, and I want everyone to be able to say what it is that they want, irrespective of whether I like it or not. That's all. Do you understand what I'm saying? Irrespective of whether I like it. If you are a member of some weird a cult. Let me stop for a second. People are saying we got to stop Scientology. Why? Because they're a cult. Who says? They say. One man's cult, another man's religion. There is no prohibition on being able to speak anything. Sparky, again on the Make Israel Syria Again tangent. Thank you, sir. And I'm sure that is going to promote a groundswell of similar activity, promoting this particular vehicle of thought. Thank you for that. There was a book called Anarchist Cookbook. The court said it's absolutely protected by the First Amendment, even though it tells people how to kill people. It provides instruction. Do you understand this? I don't get it. I don't understand. So here's what's going on. Sacha Baron Cohen, I think, what is her name? Amy Schumer, and who else? Some other folks are providing this. Anyway, there's a whole slew of folks. White House condemns. We'll get to Elon Musk. Elon Musk dared to explain this thing called nuances. One thing you've got to understand something. In this country, there may not be the thought police, but there is the thought vigilantes. And there have been people for the longest time that said organizations like the Southern Poverty Law Center, the ADL, and others were actually using their platforms to stifle some forms of speech. And it was weird because the Southern Poverty Law Center, Anti-Defamation League, whatever, and it was their position that these organizations were actually used to stifle speech. So when you try to come along and prepare or attempt to try to provide subtle nuance to what was accepted speech, but now isn't, good luck and good night. Nothing's going to happen with this. Nothing. It is never going to be understood. You are wasting your time. You must understand something. Just be prepared. Whatever you say, it will never be understood. It will never be correctly elevated or interpreted. It will never be. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Nobody is asking me, do you think young people should hear bin Laden? Should they hear history? The man who attacked us, the man who, according to the official narrative, because some were questioning the authenticity of it. We're not going to go there now. You mean to tell me they should not be able to hear the words of the person that attacked us, that declared war? What? Are you saying? Well, I'm not saying that. Well, it sounds like that to me. What are you saying? Take that down? How do I tell young people, listen, you can talk about this manifesto, this Jeremiah from 21 years ago, but you are not going to in any way agree with it or learn from what? Can you believe we're saying this? By the way, listen to this. My Patriot Supply, our sponsor. Elevate your preparedness with My Patriot Supply emergency food essentials for any moment. Support your safety now. Could not have said that better myself. And I do on a regular basis. Let's look at this right now. Look at this. Hang on. Where do we go? Oh, here we go. Sacha Baron Cohen. Sacha Baron Cohen. Shame on you. A group of Jewish celebrities, including Deborah Messing and Amy Schumer, had a confrontational call with executives for the popular social media app, as is their right. Absolutely. This is according to the Hollywood Reporter, a score of Jewish celebrities are criticizing TikTok following a large surge of anti-Semitic rhetoric going viral on that regarding the Hamas's October 7th, which was culminated in some young people supporting 9/11 terror leader Osama bin Laden. Okay. According to New York Times, more than 30 influential people, including Sacha Baron Cohen, okay, influential, Deborah Messing, Amy Schumer, okay, had an impassioned 90-minute video call with TikTok. Cohen declared on the call, what is happening at TikTok is it is creating the biggest anti-Semitic movement since the Nazis. It is creating this. Shame on you. If you think back to October 7th, the reason why Hamas were able to behead young people and rape women was that they were fed images from when they were kids. Okay. Good. Is that valid? Of course that's valid. Does that affect people negatively? Yes. Yes. Of course it does. What do you want to do? What do you want to do? What? What would you like to do? Stop what? How? You tell me. Tell me how we stop this. And not stop the message, but stop the hate. Stop it. Amy Sindisic says, Lionel, why do we never discuss fiat currency and the inevitable collapse of the dollar? That will really crash the empire. Well, one of the reasons why, and I thank you for your contribution, is because I don't want to lose viewers and listeners, and no one will stay awake during this. And fiat currency, unfortunately, is here to stay. It is emblematic of the human experience. And while what you're saying is extremely valid, it would be the proverbial kiss of death if we were to stop and talk about that. But that does not in any way mean that it is not invalid. Sparky says, you could order the Anarchist Cookbook and How to Kill series out of the back of Soldier of Fortune magazine back in the 1970s. Sparky, don't you remember George Hayduke? Paladin Press? It was up yours too, and get even. Different things you could do to destroy plumbing, and it was like a terrorist. It was the most, I loved it. I bought all of them. As a kid, I loved it. It was fascinating. But here's what I want to say, and this is the best part. Mr. Sacha Baron Cohen and others, what would you like us to do? What would you like us to do? You can't say this. What if I did this? What if I said, here, let me show you how crazy these people are. This is what, and I have a bit, this is what bin Laden said. Look at this insanity. Boom, boom, boom. The United States are devils. Listen to this. This man's insane. Is that okay? Can I do that? Yes. Great. I just promoted it. No, you didn't. Yes, I did. You're saying that you don't want me to say this if I'm promoting this. We want to teach kids not to believe in this. So I'm going to put it up, but I'm going to tell kids, please, when he says this, don't believe that. During the height of COVID, or height, as people say, during the height of COVID and COVID mania, people would say things about the vaccine doesn't work and blah, blah, blah. And if I said, can you believe what they're saying? Look what they're saying. They're saying that ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine are actually more beneficial than SARS for COVID, and therefore the vaccine. Can you believe this? This is good. I just told you that. I just gave the information. And listen to these people. They're saying that masks don't work, and they're saying that the 6-foot rule. I just told you that. Now, am I going to get away with that? Yes. So, Mr. Baron Cohen, how would you like us not to discuss this? How would you like us not to discuss this? How would you like us not to discuss this? How? I want to take a number of young people, and I want to say, let me ask you a question. Very, very simple question. When does my particular right, when does my elevation of a particular wrong allow me to kill you and your family as an example of my frustration? Anybody? Let's talk about that. Would you want to talk about this? You're also finding out that what they're doing is, the moment you say you can't, everybody's going crazy telling young people, do not, how do we say this? Do not listen to this bin Laden. They never heard of bin Laden. Now they can't get enough of him because of what you did. When I was a kid, there was a book called Everything You Want to Know About Sex, But We're Afraid to Ask, by David Rubin or something like that. It was this book. And my mother bought it. And I heard everything about it. And I found out exactly where it was. And they told me, this should not be read. I couldn't read the whole thing. Because they told me, don't do it. It was nothing. But I read it because they told me this. Now, let me go back again. Now we've got something which is the biggest. Let me explain this to you. The Streisand effect, among many. Exactly. Streisand effect. You're actually creating the very thing you were trying to ward against. Sparky, let me see if I can explain this to you. I know you would understand this, and to the rest of our friends. We took this thing called social media, and we took a bunch of people, and we said, your goal is to not be correct, but to be viral. If you eat cinnamon by the pound, if you eat Tide Pods, if you do something which could bring harm to your friends or others, it doesn't matter. As long as you enjoy a certain degree, a certain amount of I don't know what you want to call it, a certain amount of notoriety or what have you. Okay? Okay. So all of a sudden, people started to talk about everything from, they would sit in front of this mirror in the morning or their phones, and they would say, "Hi, I'm a bifusial transdemic with a double whammy. My pronouns are zer, and I'm a fawn." And then the other person would say, "In my class," and then libs of TikTok would say, "Did you see this? Did you see this crazy person?" And then all of a sudden, they would go viral. And they said, "This is great." And then somebody else would say something even more ridiculous. And then Greta Thunberg would say, "How dare you? I could be here in school, but instead I'm here. I want to." Remember, she was like doing this. What are you, this Colonel Klink thing? I was like, "What are you doing?" It was nuts. It was crazy, but it was okay because it was viral. So people all of a sudden get on this thing and they're 12 years old and they have no idea. And they say, "I'm going to, so what do I do? You want me to say something about against Israel? Okay. Watch this. Okay, here we go. Let's see if this one works. I'm going to talk about the blood of the, no, is that good? You want me to up it? Okay, let's do another one." And they sit there. Many of them are saying, "This is great. My goal has nothing to do with whether I'm correct, whether I'm proportionate. It's to just be, I can say whatever I want. I've said everything I want about vaccines, about Trump, about anything. I've lived with impunity up till now. These people have been told, say what you want. It's okay." The people who've had to worry, who have they been? Me and you. We talked about Trump. We talked about whatever. We talked about vaccines, or we were the ones who were told. We were shut down. We were the ones. We were. While the rest of these kids said, "Ha, ha, ha." And we said to them, "Be careful. One day you're going to get yours." Okay? No, we're not, because we're always right. Okay, fine. And that's what they thought. They thought they lived under this cone of protective, I don't know what you want to call it, but this thing that they thought they could do, that nothing bothered them, nothing. Well, guess what? Now we're finding out that what they said, all of a sudden, boom. Now they're told, you can't say that. What? You can't say that. Who's telling me I can't say that? People, and this is the best part, from your own party. Sacha Baron Cohen, Amy Schumer, Debbie Musk, whoever these other people are, came along, and they used to be called liberal, left, progressives. Now they're telling you that you can't say that you are promoting hate speech. Wait a minute. Wait. No. That's the Trump people. Oh, no. They're with the Trump people now. Wait a minute. Hold it. Wait a minute. The liberals, those liberals, Jewish liberals, the progressive liberals, the pro-Israel liberals, are now siding with, you ready for this? Conservatives. Bobby Kennedy, Mr. Liberal, Mr. Democrat, his vaccine stance and his Israel stance are completely commensurate with and jibe with conservatives. I mean, this is nuts. So you 17-year-old twit or whatever you are, if you think, and by the way, it's not just them, it's these crazy people going out and ripping down signs and saying the most vile, I mean, it's crazy. And they're caught, and they then lose their jobs, and they lose their investment banking positions, and they lose their offer letters from law schools, from various Ivy League schools. And who's promoting that? Liberals and conservative. I mean, nobody knows anything anymore. I have been Since day one, I have never veered from this particular very simple idea. Say what you want. That doesn't mean you're not going to have any consequences. See, when I started in talk radio in like 88, I mean, officially, but I was doing it before kind of 85 or so. But anyway, the only thing people worried about was saying an F-bomb or maybe something that might be a little racist. There was a guy named the Grease Man, Doug Tract or something, who made a joke about Martin Luther King. Anyway, this guy, they pulled him off. They pilloried him. I mean, you are done. That was it. Rush Limbaugh made a couple of jokes about Chelsea Clinton, and I think he was promoting Florida orange juice. Anita Bryant, remember that? I mean, it was like mild. Though it was the Wild West. You could say whatever you want. And in the internet, oh my God, it was the greatest days. The days of Alex Jones in 2000, pre 9/11. Oh dear God, it was something. Not anymore. But let me see if I can explain this to you. The people who are now getting caught, the people who are feeling the repercussions, the people who are feeling the sting of, and I'm not saying it's undeserved, but the sting and the rebuke of individuals who are claiming that they are indeed racist or whatever, they're getting it from the left. From the left. Stand by for a second. Stand by, dear friends. Stand by. Insidious says, do you have a personal record in hours worked? Every week. Because there is no such thing as when work ends, Insidious. Rafael Legonde says, sir, a Hamilton, a Supreme Army officer. Oh, Alexander Hamilton, excuse me. Secretary of Treasury. Because he was not born here, forefathers put clauses to stop him from becoming president. Would they too fly Ukraine flag here too? It's an excellent question. By the way, Alexander Hamilton, also slave owner. He was against manumission. Look up that one, shall we? And by the way, Raphael, thank you doubly for that. I mean that sincerely. And to our good friends at Sears. Sears always saves you money, but now you can save your kids from a lifetime of embarrassment because their school pictures will never look better when you shop for their clothes at Sears. I love you. I don't know who you are, but you are demented, and I thank you. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, here's our friends from Harvard. Harvard experts are exploring planes, trains, and automobiles in their quest to innovate green travel, improve public transportation, and discover the future of getting from place to place. By the way, Harvard, thank you for your kind contribution, but my God, talk about a place whose reputation has been sullied, shall we say, rather significantly, I believe. In any event, dear friends, let me stop for 1 second, catch my breath, remind you that this is, of course, Lionel Nation. Please subscribe to this channel. Make sure you hit those little bells, those little things, and be notified of your stuff. And also remember, Christmas is just around the corner. And you know what I've got in our luxurious our marital bed? We've got pillows and percales and sheets from our good friends at mypillow.com. Let me tell you about my great friends at mypillow.com. Mypillow.com. And by the way, use promo code Lionel. Use promo code Lionel and receive a free gift. No purchase necessary. And yes, I realize that gifts are free. It's a tautology. Get over it. Sue me. So what are we talking about? How about Giza Dream bed sheets, My Pillow 2.0, sheets, slippers, percales, towels, quilts, bedspreads, mattresses, mattress covers, mattress toppers, linens, kitchen towels, bathrobes, name it. Items to luxuriate and relax. And don't forget, Christmas is just around the corner. And yes, it makes a great stocking stuffer, and it's fine for dad or grad. Made by the greatest company from the greatest people in the greatest country. Or call 800-645-4965 if you're OG, and see how quickly Mike Lindell answers the phone. 800-645-4965. But don't forget, only use promo code Lionel. That's mypillow.com. Promo code Lionel, mypillow.com, promo code Lionel. Now, my friends, I normally don't get into different people. I mean, there's a lot of people I just don't like or don't listen to. And one of them, I think, who is a complete phony of the first order is Candace Owens. Candace Owens has been a phony since the days of Kanye West and going to the BLM. She will say whatever she has to say, do whatever she has to do to land on some kind of flower that will allow her particular message to glory. She's a fast talker. She does absolutely nothing for me. IMHO. She's a complete phony. And we can go back and explain why. But frankly, it's a free country. She can do whatever she wants. You know what? Good for you. Knock yourself out. Ben Shapiro. Okay, again, terrific. He goes to college campuses and tries to outsmart a 19-year-old. Thank you. Thank you, Ben. Again, does nothing for me. What are you going to do? It's not my crowd, not my thing, not my whatever. But it's a free country. I don't want them to enjoy the ability to speak, whatever it is. Well, numbnuts, Candace Owens decides she's going to get into a pissing match with her friend at her boss, really, at whatever the hell they're, wherever they work, Daily Wire or Caller or Schmaltz or whatever it's called. And dear God, there are these tropes and memes. And one of the things I would say to you, especially to you young people, or if you're interested in doing this, whatever, number one, learn racial stereotypes and never repeat them. Learn ethnic jokes so you know the tropes and the memes and never use them. Learn what people learn what historically you should stay away from. And the best way is to learn ethnic jokes. Don't repeat them, but understand how these tropes and memes get started. Okay? It's true. And when you are talking to somebody, Ben, this is Shapiro, right? Is that right? Ben Shapiro? Sometimes I think to myself, yes, Ben Shapiro. Sometimes when you're talking to this your ostensibly your boss, very, very powerful, a man with a kippah, a yarmulke, who is an Orthodox Jew, which is great. By the way, in New York, it is, talk about immersion. And you're talking about Israel, Candace. So what does she do? First, she quotes the New Testament. Wait a minute. What? The initial, the impetus, the genesis, the gravamen, the flashpoint, the historical ignition switch of anti-Semitism. It has been, again, look at Hayes and Wiener and others of great lectures, was always the notion of the crucifixion. This is it. And then it verifies, and it metastasizes into all kinds of whatever it is. So what does she do? What is the genius? She's quoting the New Testament at this Orthodox Jewish, proud Orthodox Jew. I don't know if it's Orthodox, I think it is. Anyway, just Jew, Ben Shapiro, at a time when we're talking about anti-Semitism. She's throwing Jesus at him. And then brings up money. Dear God. I can't write this better. It's like, are you just self-destructive? You understand something? Sam Scheiser says, why can't we outlaw all things that are immoral? That's a great question. Or outlaw all things that are wrong. Now, this woman is an idiot. She is just, I mean, if she is forever canceled, it should be because, not because of what she said, but because she's an idiot. And idiots should be canceled. Because anybody who's stupid enough to do this is like, are you kidding me? It's like making stereotypical black references or I just don't get it. Her latest venture with Tucker, who is gone. Tucker is one day he's just gonna, I don't know what's gonna happen to him. He doesn't know where he's gonna land. He doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't know. I don't know. I know you love him. I know you love him, and I'm sorry. I've never heard anything that, believe me, there's nothing at all I've ever heard where I thought, wow, I've never heard that before. Nothing. If you want to go for scholarly, if you want to go for somebody, please, it's not Tucker Carlson. But it's a free country to do whatever we want. So these two are at it. And in the middle of this, the last thing in the world, if ever there was, and if you don't have enough self-interest, please make sure you always separate Judaism from the state of Israel and politics. This is not about religion and culture. You might argue with this. I don't understand this. And it's okay to see two remember what F. Scott Fitzgerald said, the sign of a great mind is to be able to handle two seemingly inconsistent ideas simultaneously without losing your mind. That's worrisome. You better run. Says, serious question. What if Israel wasn't just a name change, but the big guy isn't asking his people wait a minute, try this again. What if Israel, God, wasn't just a name change, but the big guy asking his people whom would they serve? Wondering if the correct response would have saved both Israel's about 3,000 years of grief. I don't know what, again, interesting. You are talking to somebody, unfortunately, who is irreligious, which is very easy for me to leave the notion of religion out of this because I'm irreligious. I don't speak God. I don't know what that means. I have no idea why anybody in their right mind would even consider even for a second that. I don't. I don't demean it. I don't besmirch anyone who has a particular faith, but for me, it's just so tragic that we're talking about something which is seemingly intractable. But let me go back to what's going on here. I will tell Sacha Baron Cohen, absolutely. There is in culture so many things, and we saw it in the way black folks were treated in movies, common entertainment. They were looked at as buffoons. You don't think that did something? I'm not trying to do any kind of an equivalence here. The way the Native Americans, American Indians, if you will, were still portrayed. And what we are seeing right now is something which brings us to the next level. And that is this. So we started off by talking about the basic issue in Israel and Palestine. That's number one. That's the political war issue, if you will. Then we talked about the notion of the way anti-Semitism and the like is there, and what people in the media and the left and right. And and by the way, this is so interesting. This past week, and there's somebody watching right now. I know more folks, black folks, who are Trump supporters because there's nobody else to support, who are what you would call conservatives, who live in New York because we have an idiot mayor who is a buffoon, who, by the way, do you see how many times Eric Adams either traveled to Turkey or all of a sudden he's like, whoa, Mr. Ataturk over here. Whoa. Wow. And we'll get to that later. So anyway, there is that. This week, we were in DC this week and ran into an old friend of ours, a gay man, who is probably more, I hate to use these words, conservative, because he's wondering, where do I fit in? What's this tea business? He, like many gay friends we have, who say, I don't understand this transgender stuff. Whatever happened to gays and lesbians? Is anybody a lesbian? Hello? Are there any lesbians anymore? We don't even talk about it. They're not even on the, no, not non-binary. Okay. So we're seeing now the strangest thing. I told you, we have a friend, prototypical, she's Upper East Side, but still, Jewish woman, absolutely, rabidly woke, well, sort of, anti-Trump, hates Trump, anything Democrat, loves Biden. Jewish that says, wait a minute, what? Wait a minute, what? Now her enemies, the people who basically are turning to her because of this hate and this virulent anger that is the natural celebrated byproduct of social media, they're looking at her. She says, wait a minute, hold it. You're my friends. Not anymore. Wow. So you've got liberal, what you call them, Upper West Side Jews, who are now in the conservative camp. It's all messed up. Black folks who are becoming more conservative. I didn't mention Latinos, Spanish, Latin people in this country who work their ass off, who says, who the hell are these people coming in? We had to work to be, I'm an American citizen. They don't know what to do. And yet, despite all this, Democrats are still winning in the elections. This place is so schizophrenic. It's not even funny. But let me tell you what's going on here. Did you see the group of people? This was in the New York Post today. This is very serious stuff. This is what scares me. To the streets, hundreds of pro-Palestinian protesters, including A-list actors, shout, long live the Intifada, pass out maps of pro-Israel locations to target in New York City. Are you seeing this? This is the, I can't, they went to, oh, here we go. Look at this. Protesters forced their way into, 16 pro-Palestinian protesters were arrested Friday after they barged into News Corp's, Corporation's Manhattan headquarters, which is a home to the New York Post newsroom, and occupied the lobby, chanting Free Palestine. The disruptive demonstration came just 2 days after News Corp was highlighted on a disturbing map calling for direct action to globalize Intifada. Remember what the first Intifada was? Remember this? And we're not talking about Alan Sherman, hello, Mata, hello, Fada. This is another story. Let me see if I can put this into perspective for you. Let me see if I can really put this into perspective. The moment, and if I prayed, I would, but to whom it may concern, I do not want this to happen. I do not want this to happen. But the moment that some lunatic decides to open fire, detonate some type of a device, hurt people, kill people, maim, harm, destroy, savage, terrorize people in the name of anything, that is the game changer. That's the game changer. Let me give you this scenario. everything that you've heard so far, if indeed somebody from one of these organizations decides to do something, let's say there's an Antifa version of this. Let's say someone who is identified. Remember those during BLM and Antifa, they would throw a Molotov cocktail. They were going to incinerate cops and kill them. I mean, it was crazy. But the moment that happens, and I hope to, again, please, everything that is being said about the terms anti-Semitism and the like, just get ratcheted up. And the entire conversation, as we say, changes drastically. Then it switches. Then Candace Owens and Susan Sarandon and whoever these people are, then they're going to be asked, you contributed to this. No, wait a minute. No, you contributed. And the calculus of this changes again. Meanwhile, it's only just begun to evolve, as it were. Sparky says, blacks had it so bad that they liked Al Jolson in blackface. Being represented in pop culture, even as simpletons, gave them comfort. Otherwise, they'd have thought they were slotted for eradication. I don't know about that. I don't want to. I don't know. I do not know about that one. But I will tell you, Sparky, that there were folks who themselves, black performers, I believe Sammy Davis Jr., when he was a young man, himself wore some type of a darkening kind of a blackface as well. That's another can of worms, as we say. But thank you for this. Listen to what I'm saying to you. Get ready. You are not going to be able to grasp the complexity of what we're saying. You are not going to be able to grasp. But watch what happens. There's a couple of things here that are being said. Number one, where was Israel? Where was the IDF? Where was Mossad? Where was Shin Bet? Where was Amman? Where were all of these historically ingenious forces that were non-pareil in terms of the what am I trying to say? In terms of the data collection, the intel, where were they? What happened? Okay. There was a time when as you know, if you say something that's racist, if you say something that's homophobic, if you said something that was pro-Trump, if you said something that supported the notion of voter indecision or dislike, whatever, they would move in like you can't believe. And there was a time when the ADL was the ADL, when the Anti-Defamation League, if there was somebody who dared to say something, that you would see a movement, all done legally by protest, prohibition, protest, kind of a BDS in reverse, so to speak. People are asking now, where are they? What's going on? Young people don't know this. Young people don't realize it. If you, good God, this particular movement is going to come back. And you are going to see, especially now, that people are going to be asking, what's going on? Because there is right now a motivation, a collective, I don't know what the word is, a force among the American Jewish community in particular, a revitalization, a reformation, so to speak, that is regrouping and a revitalization. And you're going to see this. And people like Candace Owens and other people are going to feel what used to be the case, because everything's been changing. Because there was a sense that, you can say whatever you want about Jews. You can say whatever you want about Israel. It doesn't matter. But don't say anything about, trans or whatever. I mean, it was a complete change of the retributive or retaliation, landscape. It was different. Well, nobody's talking about LGBTQ anymore. Nobody's talking about that. In fact, try being LGBTQIA in Iran. Go ahead for this. We haven't even gotten into, and I will do it maybe next time, what happens when we have a militia? What happens when Hamas deals with Hezbollah, with the Al-Aqsa Brigade and the Houthis? Oh, that's another story. So remember, we talked initially about Israel and Palestine. We talked about anti-Semitism, but we're going to be seeing something within the culture, within our own streets, within our own world. Internecine factions fighting within what was the left. The right's very consistent. No argument whatsoever. But the left, Sacha Baron Cohen is all of a sudden now fighting with people in his group echelon. And there's going to be a real battle where Hollywood is going to be asked, which side are you on? What side is the liberal entertainment intelligentsia? The Rob, and by the way, you can't presuppose it just because somebody's Jewish that they're necessarily on, I guess, pro-Israel. But many of the time that's true. You're going to be, believe me, there's like 3 or 4 rings to this circus. Which one? This is why you have to understand why Eric Brandon being able to spin plates, multiple, plates and bowls at the same time. You're going to have to be able to coordinate about 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 different issues simultaneously, different theaters of intellectual and actual war. So get ready. And if you think that by watching Robin Roberts or hearing Candace Owens, don't buy the, in terms of career. See, what Candace Owens doesn't understand is she looks reckless. And once you get that reckless thing, you get that, it's done. Good luck. Good luck. And remember the words from Jack Reacher. Remember, you wanted this. Sparky says, that's what blacks told Jolson. Like Sinatra later, Jolson was a champion of black entertainment's right. Well, you know what, Sparky, in a way, I certainly can see that. It was a different time then. The problem is, as you know, most people today cannot contextualize. So good luck when it comes to that one, okay? Also, in the meantime, here's one for you. Maybe you didn't see this, but I know. Hang on a minute. Here we go. How about this one right here? Oh, I've never even got to Elon Musk. Elon Musk, they're pulling advertising from X. Always put your money in Elon Musk. Believe me, he's got too much money. He can change on a dime, But listen to this one: Apple, BlackRock, Pfizer CEOs fawn over Xi Jinping, giving him a standing ovation. Why aren't they also being considered anti-American? Maybe somebody's going to be standing up against them. How dare you promote this notion of communist China? Are they able to speak? Are they able to? By the way, Supreme Court refuses to reinstate Florida's anti-drag show law. And despite everything I've told you, despite everything I've said, in the last electoral go-round, what was it? Democrats basically trouncing the Republicans. This is nuts. All right, dear friends, let me say to you, my dear and wonderful friends, to Sparky, thank you immensely. To That's Worrisome, You Better Run. And this is close, your particular script was as close to jazz or scat as I've seen. Sham Sizer, thank you. Our friends at Harvard, Insidious. Rafael Legonde. My Patriot Supply, we love that. Our friends at Sears. And Amy Syndichik, I guess. Thank you for that. My Patriot Supply, of course. Burger King, Sears, Cengage, Thank you. And our new member, Hillbilly 55. Thank you, my brother. I believe my brother. Thank you. All right. What a day. An hour and 15 minutes. Thank you for this. Thank you for your excitement, for your wherewithal, for your devotion to truth and excitement. All right, dear friends, have a great and a glorious day. We will see you tomorrow, 8 a.m. per usual, as we pick this conversation up. Thank you so much for being a part of this. And until then, remember, as we always say, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Ta-ta.